Hi everyone and welcome back to Bushel Park Golf Club. So today we're going to be testing out the new Cobra Radspeed series. So what I've got in the bag is my own 7-iron Fairways and Driver. I'm going to compare that to the new Radspeed 7-iron, Fairwood and also Driver of as close a match as possible. Now with the Radspeed collection there are actually three different versions of the driver. You have the Radspeed XD and the Radspeed XB. Now each of those three drivers is aimed at a different player. So we have the Radspeed, which is their lowest spinning, slightly fade biased driver. You have the Radspeed XB, which is their straight flight driver, which is most forgiving of the three. And you also have the D models, the Radspeed XD, which is their draw bias model. Now what they've done with the Radspeed collection is they've actually used perimeter weighting. So with the driver itself, there are three drivers with three different perimeter weight locations. So with this model I have here, which is the Radspeed, we have two weights positioned at the front which are fixed and one weight positioned at the back. Now that's the same for two of the model drivers, but actually the amount of weight they've moved differs from model to model. Now being that this is the more for the player's driver, this has actually got 8 grams of weights at the front, and it's got less grams of weight, and it's got 8 grams of weight at the back, and they have a movable weight, but on the sole plate, same as they have with last year's SZ driver. Now when you go into the Radspeed XB, we actually have less weight at the front and more weight positioned further back. So we have 10 grams of weight at the front and 20 grams of weight positioned to the back of the driver. And with the D model, they've actually moved a portion of that back weight into the heel of the club to make that more draw biased. So of the three drivers, there is a driver model to suit every single player. Now what they've also done is they've kept CNC milled infinity face, and they've also created this carbon fibre crown that wraps around into the actual sole plate. So along this driver you have the construction of the face, we have a T-bar internally which runs along the bottom, right at the back and across the top of the driver, and then you have these two wrap-round crowns that roll into the sole of the driver here. So what the carbon's for is to actually reduce the weight. So the more weight they can reduce, the further back we can get the front and back weights away from each other. The further back they are, the more forgiving a driver is going to be. They're also looking to optimise launch and consistency. So with the CNC milled face, we get the most consistent club face. Every single face is computer milled rather than being worked by hand, so the tolerances are far smaller than you have with any other driver. And as with previous models, they also come with the Arcos system fitted into the grip. So we're going to hit some shots. I'm going to hit some shots with my 7-iron first, compare that to the new Radspeed 7-iron, and we'll show you results in just a moment. So after hitting all of the Cobra Radspeed driver, Fairwood and 7-iron, the biggest improvement I found was with the irons. Now I was expecting that. I currently use a set of blades, so going to a cavity back was always going to give me more distance. Slightly shocked as how much distance I was gaining. It was flattening my fly out a little bit, which is due to the slightly stronger lofts. A lot of modern clubs now are having stronger lofts. There are really easy clubs to launch the ball. So to get the right 7-iron flight, they have to de-loft them to get the optimum flight for a 7-iron. Now, it wasn't ridiculously low in comparison. I do want to hit the ball lower. And with my irons, I believe I was about 20 degrees of launch, and with this, we were seeing about 18 on average. So it was fractionally lower, but the carry distance was 20 yards longer. So a substantial amount of length gained there, and most of that was down to the fact that we was actually having a much faster ball speed off the club face. So even on this slightly misstruck shots, we're still seeing a faster ball speed off the club face. Fairway woods, there was virtually no difference for me in comparison. I really like my fairway wood, so it was always going to be a struggle to beat that one. I didn't really find any change from my SZ over to the Radspeed. But with the driver, there was a little change as well. So drivers are hard because if you're comparing one year against the next, you're not going to see huge gains from one to the other, especially if they're fitted. Now, the driver I'm using here is as close to shaft as I can get to my driver. Not exactly the same, so there was possibly a little bit more gain to have there, but I certainly found with the Radspeed, the ball speed was consistently higher, so it was faster off the club face. I also had a slightly lower spin, which for me is great. I do generally find I get quite a lot of spin, backspin with the driver. So if I can lower the spin and increase the ball speed, for me there's going to be gains there. And I certainly have my longest drive with the Radspeed, being at 311 yards, against my driver where I felt I hit one really well and got 307. So there was a gain to be had there, but as far as consistency goes, I think there's certainly got some room for improvement with the fitting. So I'll get fitted with that one and we'll come back to you and see how we get on and have another comparison from one against the other. But that's the new Radspeed irons. The fairway wood also comes in 3 heads. So we have a Tour, Big, in fact there's 4 heads. Tour, Big, the standard, and then a draw bias version as well, which is a new introduction for this year. I have tried the draw bias version, and you do get what it says on the tin. There is a more consistent draw coming into there. I currently use the Tour head, so I was trying Tour against Tour. And I also hit the standard head, which for me gives a little bit too much spin for my game. But certainly for people who struggle with fairway woods, it's a very good option to have a look at. The T-rail bars they have along the bottom of the sole of the club help to square the club face through the golf ball, as they used to have on the old Baffler irons. I haven't tried the hybrids yet. Maybe we'll do a separate video on the hybrids, and soon to come we're going to have a look at the new blades as well. So watch out for that one. But for now, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and hope to see you all really soon.